3, 2, 1. It's go time. Welcome to the show. It's go time. This is the ultimate podcast for salespeople and sales managers that are in the trenches. They got to talk to people to make a sale. And if this is your first time listening, welcome, welcome. This is the home for you if you're having trouble in your sales career, if you're not staying positive 24/7 out there in the field, and if you're just trying to have a better experience with your clients and ultimately make more money in your sales career, specifically in insurance, right? Recently, we made a transition to go specifically on insurance, specifically in final expense, because you know what, Dylan? That's all we do all day, every day, isn't it?
That's what we know best.
That's what we know best, baby. So that's how we can serve human beings and Earth the best, at least right now in this season for us. So welcome to the show. This is the #1 final expense podcast in the world. It's just not everybody knows about it just yet.
We gotta wait.
We gotta wait. And so welcome back in the studio, our technology genius, the Croatian Tiger, Robert Bazaki, and D win, no matter what.
Let's
Dylan
do
win.
it.
Welcome back. Let's roll. So what are we talking about today there, Dylan?
Talking about our favorite topic, objections.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh no. Have you ever been stuffed at the rim by a client at the door or in the intro when you're trying to build rapport, when you're trying to get the close, when you're trying to get this, when you're trying to get that? Objections happen, don't they?
Happen more often than I care to admit.
They happen a lot. They are part of our deal. They are part of our deal. So we're going to be talking about, how to handle objections, but then also maybe more importantly, the mentality that we must have around objections as well. Because I don't know about you, when I first started in sales, I thought an objection was personal. I thought an objection was a complete stop and halt to the sale. Because it can sound like it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not making any decisions today, right? The price is too high, right? I don't know why you're writing all this up. I'm not going to do it, right? All these
I don't believe in insurance.
I don't believe in insurance. I don't have time for that, right? I don't have time for this. I got to think about it. And you want to blow your brains out, right? And the list goes on and on and on. But there's a cool thing. There's a science to objections. Right? There's a skill that can be developed. So I don't care who you are, how much experience you have, you can get great at objections. Right? And so we're going to be talking about the mentality around that too. So where do you want to start here, Dylan? Around objections. Maybe what was the first hurdle in the realm of objections to where you saw progress, you saw momentum, or you gained a lot of confidence?
Me personally, when I got an objection, I used to think I sucked. I was like, okay, that was my fault that came up, right? And then I've realized objections was just uncertainty, right?
Yes.
It's not like a halt. It's like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. They just don't know. So you just got to be very enlightening on them. And what I found very true to form for me was I really went into my script and found out ways to be so crystal clear where that objection really never hit at the end, where I kept finding it. I was like, okay, I kept getting I don't know what this, I never filled that card in, right? Or I didn't fill that out. Like, that's not me. And I was like, okay, how can I really emphasize on like they did do it, right? And it was just actually just telling them, like, being straightforward in the re-intro, setting the standards, like, hey, I'm here because this card got mailed in, right? And then you just really go into the steps of like why I'm here, what's my job. These are for people who are on Social Security and disability, right? These are folks to make sure they don't get buried. And when you go into that depth, they're like, oh wait, that's me. That is also me. So it's no longer about if they fill out the card. They're like, wait, you're talking about me. So I did fill out that card.
I love it. So #1 with objections is how can you eliminate objections on the front end so they don't come back
It's the
later?
best objection killer.
Absolutely. The best objection killer is to kill the objection up front. And that's one of them is like, hey, I don't remember filling that out. Or that's just what they say. You know, 9 times out of 10, they know they did. They're just saying
They just don't know you.
That's right. Yeah. Isn't it interesting that a lot of objections come up when trust is not developed, when the rapport is not there, when they're looking at a sales guy instead of somebody who that they genuinely believe is on their side. That's a big thing. So if you're getting a bunch of objections early, right, that means they don't like you yet, right? Almost certainly. Or you're saying something weird.
Yeah.
Right. So the best way, so think about it in your business is what objections are you getting? This is #1 is what objections are you getting and where are you getting them? Right. That's super important because I don't have time for this when you first start talking to them is different than I don't have time for this when you're in the close or something
A lot
of that
of different
nature.
reasons, yeah.
Or, hey, I can't afford it right when you start talking to them versus I can't afford it in the close, right? So it's the same objection, just in a different part in the sales cycle.
And
so
it has a whole different meaning to it too.
it definitely could. And so you got to identify, number one is, what objections am I getting? Because in the intro, there's only a few number of things that they can actually tell you, right? And they only fall down into a couple of categories, right? Is it delay? Is it mistrust? Is it, what is it? And so number one is, what objections are you getting and where are you getting them? So write it out. Like, if you want an income producing activity, this is it, is writing down all objections you get, right? So from here on out, when you get an objection, write them or not, sell them or not, when you get an objection, go back and start what we call an objection manual, and you create this on your own, is you write down what objection you got that day and where, and you just document it, right? And so I know when you started doing this, everything changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Start knowing what people say, you actually start systemizing what you need to do. And so when things hit the fan, like let's say I don't have enough, I can't afford this at the close. Like you already wrote down like 6 times of someone saying a certain objection. You just lean on towards that and you don't have to be spontaneous in the home.
Right. Yeah. Because if you're winging it, and we get in this zone, like, are we just winging objections? Because you could be really successful right now and winging your objections. Like that can be happening. Now, codify it. Like if it's working every time when somebody says, hey, I just got to think about it. It's like, hey, Miss Jones, typically when I hear that, it's typically going to be an affordability issue. So let's just show you something a little lower, right? Because $60 a month, is that going to be a little too high? It might be. Awesome, Miss Jones. That just means that's the wrong plan. All right, so let me show you something a little lower here, okay? That way it fits in the budget, and at least you have something in place, and then you write it up.
What I like to say towards that, it's
So that's
at
an
least
objection killer right there.
Yeah, as long as it fits in the budget and be enough to put you on ice. I've been using that a lot, and that resonates really well.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, as long as it always fits in the budget and at least puts you on ice.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been saying that a lot just because it's like I always hear the saying like some insurance is better than no insurance. Honestly, that sounds like chalkboard, but like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't know why. I never liked that. So now like when I'm walking them down, it's like, hey, the biggest things, make sure this always fits in the budget, but at least be enough to put you on ice. They're like, that's true. And it makes them visualize why they're using that money. You're actually giving the value of your death benefit towards something they need to visualize what they're actually preventing, which is putting them on ice.
Because we're in the final expense industry, and a lot of times the funeral director, they won't deal with the family if they have nothing.
Exactly.
Right. So that gives them something to think about.
I got that from Glenn.
I've never heard that. That's pretty good.
I got that from Glenn.
Yeah, you don't want to be put hold and on the cold, Miss Jones, right? And they always say, nope. Right. So number one is create your objection manual. What objections are you getting and where are you getting them? And then start going over, like if you're doing your business alone, like stop it. You need to be rocking with people. You need to have some battle buddies. You need to have a mentor. You need somebody that's in your corner that can actually help you. So go to people who are in your corner, on your team, that are right in the business, the quality of business that you want, that roll in their business with the right ethics that you want. Right? You got to follow the right leader, and then find out what you can say at these different points on what objections. That way you're not thinking, because when you're handling an objection and you stumble and you use non-words, how does that go?
Just like now, it's very unconfident.
Sounds weird.
They're like, why would I believe this?
Right. Now they don't say that, but they just stay in the, I just got to think about it.
Yeah, I need to talk to my kids. You're like, well, Miss Jones, why
The thing about talking to your kids is, no. It's something else.
Yeah,
it's
just dig deeper and be confident.
Deeper.
Even if you're wrong, screw it. You might as well be wrong and confident than be right and like hesitate all the time.
Yeah.
Because even if you're right, they're not going to see it. They're not going to believe it.
Yeah, I love it. And it is how you deliver. And so what does that mean? We need to practice. We need to have confidence on what we're going to say. And also what happens is when we start to study objections, you actually get less objections. It's very weird. Or maybe it's just a science. Maybe it's just math. I don't know. But whenever I'm feeling like my attitude and my momentum and my confidence is kind of dipping, I go right to objections, right? Because that gives me confidence. So that goes into number 2 is lean into objections. So as you're creating your objection manual, you also want to have the mindset of leaning into the objections. So number one feeds into number two is when you're creating your objection manual, you're actually looking for objections throughout your day. It's not like you're seeking them out and you're like, I want as many objections as possible. I'm going to create them. No, you want to eliminate them. But at the same time, you're encouraged to get them. Does that make sense? Versus like, somebody going to the gym. It's like you've worked out with those people where you got to drag their ass to the gym.
Yeah.
Right. So like, don't drag your ass into objections. Right. Be the one on offense looking for them so you can study them and continue to get better. And that's leaning into objections. So I always notice when I'm producing the most, when I have the most confidence, when I have the most deposits, when I have the best experiences with my clients, I'm leaning into objections, meaning like I'm not afraid of them, going into the day or afraid, what are they going to say? Right?
They might yell at me this time.
And like we think of all kinds of crazy things that can happen and they just never happen. Isn't that interesting?
But if you like mentally prep your mind for that adversity,
here we go.
Then you're way better. You're like, okay, I already prepped for this, and like if this happens, great, I know how to handle it now.
Exactly. Yeah, and don't you want to be operating with confidence and clarity and encouragement in your straight commission sales role? Hell yeah! So this is a great way to do it. Is be a student of your game of what objections you can get. I remember coming back from the second time we went to Andy Elliott's office, and again, I got reminded. I'm like, oh crap! There's a whole nother level to handle objections. I forgot because we forget things, or maybe I'm just an alien and I'm the only one that forgets things. And so, like, I got back, and I remember the first day. It was the story you talked about on like the New Year's Eve. I'm like, dude, it's New Year's Eve. You're trying to make you don't have any money, and I'm working that story.
Dude, that sucked.
But I just got back out in the field, so it's easier for me to say. It's like I've been out here 2 days in a row.
I was at dinner, and he was like, I was like, Pat, man, my money's not right. He's like, well, I'm in the field, and you're in Colorado. I was like, you know what? You're right, dude.
Yeah, you're spending money. I'm making money. And so when I got back, the very first day, I got 0 objections all day. I remember I wrote like 3 or 4 apps, and I had 0 objections all day, and my objection manual was blank because I restarted it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool, but I was leaning into them. So you got to lean into, and I was looking for them all day. It's just, I was feeling good. Right timing situations happen too. But you don't get lucky. Mm-hmm. You never get lucky in sales. Like if you're producing a lot, right? Ethically doing it the right way, answering all the health questions properly, doing right by your clients, all the good stuff. If you're producing a lot, then you've earned that, right? Mm-hmm. You're not lucky. Like you're not getting lucky all the time.
You put in the work, you grind it out, and it compounded for you to just blast off with that type of production.
Exactly. You're ready to receive all the good stuff because of preparation, almost certainly. Now, if your business is not going the way you want, you need to take responsibility for that too, right? It's like, man, I'm getting a ton of objections. I got a lot of people that I got to think about it. These are almost certainly trends that you need to look at. So lean into objections. Don't lean away. Now, how does somebody do that? Easier said than done. Oh, great. Yeah, it's go time, guys. Told me to lean into objections. Cool. That sounds nice, but I am not confident about what I do. I need some money. Like that's hard to do, right? Mm-hmm. So how does somebody lean into objections?
Just start from basics, pen and paper. Like you got to start writing down the common things you're seeing. For me, it was like I didn't fill out that card. It's like, okay, I don't like that objection. I genuinely do not like objections. I think the best objection killer is to not have any.
Yep.
Right? So it's like, okay, how can I structure my script to make sure that I can eliminate stuff on the front end so I can focus on the main ones in the back end? Right. My rule of thumb is that any objections in the beginning, if it's not the close, it's fake.
Yeah.
So I don't even deal with it. Down. Like I make a joke about it. So like, let's say we're like, oh, I can't afford it. It's like me neither. And then you move on, right? Because they don't even know what I'm doing right now. Like it's almost fake because they just don't want to be sold. So I just gotta make them feel like I'm not selling them. Mm-hmm. So I just move on and call it a day, and then you could really focus on the back end. So if I was someone who had no money, which I was, and was trying to make money, don't listen to what they're saying in the beginning. Address it, but don't fully address it head on, and start filtering out what's real and what's fake. So when you go to the very end, to the close, you can actually say like, hey, this objection is real, and I couldn't conquer it. So I need to write it on pen and paper and ask my upline, ask my mentors, ask my group of people of what they would have said. Then boom, next it. If that comes up again, because most likely it will, because it came up once, it should come back again. Yep. You're like, wait, I know how to solve this. You lean into that, to whoever told you, and then boom, you just solve it a lot quicker. Yes. And then you can always, what I do is like, I like to put on my phone. So like if I get an objection, I just like to laugh about it. Like I'll like try to swirl off. I'm like, let me use the restroom. I go in the bathroom. I used to scroll, be like, there it is. Say this. And I come back and then I would say the objection.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Give yourself a break to reset and like, oh crap, they need to talk
or like
to
I need
kids.
to grab something from my car. Like,
Sure.
I'll be right back. You just look at your phone.
There
like,
you go.
That objection would work. And you come back and it'll work.
That's awesome. I haven't heard you say that. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Lean in the objection. Right. Get the answers because there's a way to get around every objection. And so one thing I want to make sure we hammer on this and not gloss over it is you say ignore objections on the front end. Okay. Now we're talking about final expense life insurance. So if you sell cars, this might not work. Okay. Disclaimer there. But in our industry, it works. And it's a key integral part. Right. So I ain't got no time for this. Let's throw some objections here on how you ignore it. Right. Okay. So I'll throw you one, you throw me one.
Okay.
Let's just say at the door. Right. Hey, I ain't got no time for this.
Yeah, me neither. I got all these families I have to see by the end of today. Let me just go grab your book. I'll be right in. Takes a second. Is it okay if I park right there? And you just move in.
He turns his back and goes, all right, cool. Now hit me at the door.
If this is life insurance, I'm good. I got this taken care of.
Hey, I hear you. My job is just to help you with this card that was filled out recently. Sorry about the delay. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but let me go grab your book and I'll be right in. Can I park there? Boom. All right. And then so let's see. At the door, it's like, hey, is this life insurance?
Well, what it is, it's a form of it, and really it just helps folks, on Social Security and disability with this type of things. Here, my job is to show you how this works real quick. Do I need to take off my shoes?
Well, now hold on. How much does it cost?
It's just based off your age and stuff. Really, it just takes a second. I got all these families to worry about. Let me just sit down real quick. Which one's your comfy chair? This one or that one?
There we go. So notice how we're acknowledging it, but we're not breathing life to it, right? Because if it's I'm busy, and then you say, what do you naturally want to say when somebody says, hey, I'm busy at the door in the intro? What do you got going on? Yeah, what are you doing? Right? So think about it like little embers with a bunch of kindling on top for all my outdoorsy people. You get it. And you're like, you're blowing on it. You're creating a huge flame of objections, especially at the intro. If you say, what do you got going on? Right? It's like,
are you cooking back there? That's actually a good one. Are you cooking back there? And they're like, I'm a great cook. And you just start walking towards the door. I do that all the time. So like one time, it was actually last week, I was walking to the door and this lady was like, you're not coming in, right? I already got all my stuff. It's like, dang, dude. So we're talking. She's like, if you're going to try to sell me, I don't want any. And I'm just talking to her. I was like, do I need to take off my shoes? And I start walking towards her and she like backed up and goes, oh, no, you can keep them on. And then she just opened the door and let me walk right in. And it's just like, you really got to be assumptive. Like you're supposed to be there. Yep. You are supposed to be there. They asked for you to be there and have that confidence. Like this is my job. This is normal.
Super normal.
I know this is not normal for you.
Yes.
I'm going to make this as normal as possible for you. Let me just sit down, show you how this works out.
Are you rolling up and making calls, knocking on your leads, calling your leads? Are you rolling up with a sense of normalcy? Right? Or are we rolling up with energy of desperation? I need to make a sale, right? I don't know if they'll let me in type of energy. This is stuff you got to look yourself in the mirror and really like, this is not 100% of the time for me. So I'm assuming it's not 100% of the time for everybody else, right? Where you have a sense of expectancy that it's normal to where you can reset. And it's like, hey, look, the play is for me to act normal. The play is for me to be you. To be you. Exactly. You don't want to be fake and phony. But then also like that it's no big deal energy. Right? In our business, it's so important to have no big deal energy because ultimately our clients are non-committal folks, right? They don't like commitments. They don't like a ton of responsibility, especially something that just happened right now. So the whole no big deal, hey, it just takes a second, no big deal. Mm-hmm. How many times a day do you say no big deal in a day?
All the time.
Yeah, Robert, how many times a day do you say no big deal out in the field?
I say outside the field.
Yeah, we say it all the time.
Say it all
right?
the time. Don't worry, and it's no big deal.
It's all good. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal, man.
What?
And so,
don't worry about it. We'll figure out
How long
something.
is this going to take? Just take a second. No big deal. Let me go grab your book, right? How much does it cost? Hey, you'll be surprised. It's no big deal. I'll help you if I can. Yeah. Like no big deal energy, right? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to ignore the objections at the front end. Because you think about it. How many times, if you're over the phone or at the door, how many times did that person get that call? right? And then and if you start quacking like a salesperson, then they're automatically gonna get into that zone of like, oh, this sounds like a sales call, so
I'm gonna hang up.
So let me do what I normally do when I normally get that thing. Oh yeah, I'm busy. Oh, you know what? I'm not interested. Oh, you know what? If it costs anything, I'm good. Oh, I thought it was something else. Da 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 da. Everything that they've said to the other 100 people that they've talked to, right? And so when you show up with a unique vibe, no big deal energy, you just slip right past the objections. Look, man, if it's real, it'll come back again, and then you can handle it then. Like, look, if somebody genuinely can't afford it, it's not like we're out here like cramming policies down people's throats that can't afford it, right? If they can't afford it, what do? We walk away.
Yeah, we walk away. We check. We help them with financial reviews. We make sure, like, if this is affordable. If not, I'm walking because I'm not.
Yeah. How much do you draw every month? How much is your rent? How much is your this? How much is your that? And you're like, Ms. Jones, you can't afford it. Okay, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, you know what? I appreciate your time. Da 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 da.
This was so fun.
This was awesome. Yep. Here's my card. Right, and they'll never call back, but that's okay. But you got to the root cause. And so, like, if we're not policy pushers, you don't have to be in final expense. This is why this has been home for 11 years for me, is because you don't have to be somebody you're not, right? You have to keep your edge, which is awesome, because I naturally want to slip back into Comfortville. I don't know if you're the same, but you got to stay sharp. And then you can ultimately help a lot of people. You don't have to lie, cheat, or steal to make a high income, right? And you're put in spots like that every single week, and you get to choose to do the right thing every single week. And I think more than anything, our clients need it more and more now than ever. Our clients need really good people to help them out with their insurance.
And when you become really, really crystal clear on your objection killers, you become you, and you have that no big deal attitude, you will start hearing at the end of your phone calls, in the sits, like, I would have I never let anyone else came in before.
Never talked to people like you.
You are basically my grandson at this point.
Yeah.
You start hearing these wonderful things at the end of the presentation, and then sit at the end of the close. You're like, dang, if I wasn't me, if I didn't lean on those objections, if I couldn't answer that confidently, then they wouldn't be saying these wonderful
100%.
things to protect their family.
And that same person at the door said,
oh, I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
If you're here about life insurance, I'm good.
Yep. And then cut to 45 minutes, an hour later, hour and a half later, they're saying,
oh, you're awesome.
You're awesome.
Can I always call you?
Yeah. And can I go up later?
Yeah.
I know we just got 10,000 with you, but can we go up later? And 30, 45 minutes later, an hour earlier, they say we can't afford anything and we're good. And we have it all taken care of. It happens every week, bro.
It happened this week. Straight up off my reintro, they were just like, she was like, I can't afford nothing. Like, off the rip. I said, don't worry. My job's just to help you with this.
That's cool.
She's like, okay. And then, $206 double.
It's like, all relative. Bro.
I was like, in my head, you can't help but to hold it subconsciously. You're like, dang, they just said they can't afford it.
Yeah, this one's toast.
And you're like, is this one great for you? Is this one always going to fit in the budget? And they're like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one I can always work. It's like, okay, cool. And then it's always an affirmation like, dude, these people just don't want to be sold. They just have uncertainty. They don't know who you are. And you just got to give them the information like, this is me. I'm Dylan.
Yeah.
You're you. You're Pat. This is how I help folks. This is the certainty of why your family's going to be protected. And we're all good. No big deal.
That's it. No big deal, baby. Yeah, because they get in that zone of like, they don't want to be sold, right? They don't want to, they want to know that they're not sitting across from the sell at all cost type of salesperson. Like, are you actually showing up? And like, I flip and flop into this, right? Like if I'm just get back out in the field and like I'm trying to make a bunch of money real quick, like I get into that zone. And then my first couple of sits, like I noticed that they saw me as a sales guy. So if your clients if you're not having a lot of success with your clients consistently, you're probably talking like a salesperson, right? Now, I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that in like, are we leading with our pocketbook versus leading with our heart? Are we leading with tactics and strategies to build good rapport and to build good value to where it makes sense in their mind? Or are we just selling on features and just pushing through the process? Like there's a nuance there, but that's the difference between your client seeing you as a salesperson and them seeing you as you.
Yeah.
Right. That's the key. Like, are you a salesperson? Are you trying to make a sale? Yes. But once they see that you're there on their side,
you're solving their problem.
You
actually reduce your objections when they know you're solving their problems.
Yes.
So I like to write down every single thing they tell me as if I'm their therapist. And I remember, I basically bring it up later in this close, like, this is why I'm here today. This is what we're protecting. This is what we're doing. And it reduces so many objections.
Absolutely. It's downhill from there.
It's downhill because not only one, you repeated what they just told you. Second, you're reading off a piece of paper that you wrote down that they watched you wrote after they said it.
Yep.
So it holds them accountable. And then third, it reduces the likelihood of uncertainty coming back up.
That's right.
Because it's like, oh no, maybe I need to push it. Miss Jones, you just told me that we've been pushing this off because we've been procrastinating. We're not getting any younger when it comes to this. And I know how much this means to you when it comes to protecting Jennifer. Right? Let's just do something good today. You won't got to bite the whole apple today. We just got to get enough to make sure it fits in the budget and put you on ice. Let me show you a couple plans that we can do that for you.
There you go.
And then you move on.
Does that sound like a sales guy? Does that sound like a sale at all cost type of sales guy? Does that sound like that he doesn't care about that client? No, not at all. He's keeping it real. Because, like, again, our clients are oftentimes professional procrastinators. Maybe it's just human beings. I'm not sure. But I know our clientele base, right? And, you know, we've got to deliver confidence. That's what he's doing. So the client's saying, this is objections. We're still on objections here. The client's saying, hey, I don't know. Like, maybe I got to talk to the kids. Like, can you just give me a couple of days?
Can you call me? Can I call you?
Yes, that's a translation for I'm uncertain about something. And so, the next thing you need to say, you don't need to be handling all those, right? If they give you a bunch.
You just need to find one. Oh, what do you say? If you get multiple objections.
If you get multiple objections at one point in time, in general, none of them are true. Right? They might have little itsy bitsy bits of truth, but it's something else typically. So if somebody's saying, you know, hey, I got to talk to my kids. Can you just give me an extra day?
Can I call you back?
Like, can I call you back because I'm just not in the right mind space right now.
I just don't have the money.
Of the weather or whatever.
I'm feeling sick now all of a sudden.
If you run it through the objection translator, meaning what they say versus what they mean, they just mean I'm not that confident. I'm not that confident in you that you're the right guy. I'm not confident in I can afford the price, or I'm not confident that this product that you're trying to sell me is going to solve my issue. It's one of those three, the 3 Ps: product, person, or price. And you got to find out where that is. But sometimes to get over the hump, they just need a little bit more confidence, right? So, hey, I got to do this. I got to do that. Delay. I just got to think about it. Fantastic. Hey, man, I know you've been, can I be candid with you, John? All right, man. Hey, you're 68 years young. All right. You don't have any coverage in place. And after what you told me, man, I don't feel comfortable leaving here without getting you some coverage. Okay. So let's find something that's going to fit in the budget and make you feel good. All right, so let me show you a couple options here. Is that fair? All right, cool. So you'll like one of these, I promise you. All right, So here's this.
I like
this. Right?
When you said that,
so
you'll like one of these, I promise.
Yeah. Do I sound like an asshole? Do I sound like a jerk? Do I sound like I'm just trying to push stuff that they don't need? Not at all. Right? And so, like, it's something there. So you just got to give them confidence. And the other thing is, it could just be you just need to say something confidently, so they just have a little bit more confidence in you. Right.
Always.
Like you were saying, like, it doesn't really matter too much what you say, but you have to, a lot of this, girls do this to guys, but in sales, customers do this to us. Is they call it a poop test, right? They call it a shit test, actually. And that's like, basically they're quizzing you. They don't know they're doing it, right? It could be at the door. It's like, how long is this going to take? Like, oh, it just takes a second. Let me go grab your book. Hey, what's the price? It's like, depends on your age and your health. I got no idea. Let me go grab your book. Right. And they're like, right.
And you're just like a lightsaber just blasting it back, just going sideways.
That's right. So Master Yoda. And so you got to be passing these tests that your clients give you, right? If you've never thought about it like this, you're now going to see your business in a different way. And so they give you poop tests along the way. And if you're not prepared for that, like, you're getting waxed and you have no idea.
They're gonna poop all over you.
They're gonna poop all over you,
and you're gonna get the door closed on you. The deal's not gonna go down.
You're gonna get hung up on. You're gonna get people that got to delay, give you weird objections, and so it could be that you're just not passing the tests that your customers give you on a consistent basis, right? So this is. Almost every customer is going to be testing you at some point. Now, if you go back and you're sitting, you ask them, hey, were you testing me when you said that? They may say yes, they may say no. They don't know they're doing it, right? But we know that they do that, right? Girls do the same thing, right? Can I give you an example of that?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, you really going to wear that shirt?
Oh man, what's wrong with my shirt?
That failed the shit test right there. Right? That's failing the poop test, right?
Yeah, but they got pooped all over.
Yeah. So watch the Unapologetic Man podcast find out what I'm talking about. So we're not, this is not this podcast for that. So on objections, right? And so you've got to be confident in whatever you're saying back. So there's only a few number of things that the client can say at every single phase of the sit, right? If you're making dials, right? You're calling at least 100 people a day. I don't know how many of those people you talk to, but you're getting about the same thing every time, right? It's like, who is this? Who you with? How much is it? I didn't fill it out. No, it's not at the right time.
I got it taken care of.
I got it taken care of, right? What's yours? Like all this stuff. Like there's only a few things that they can say. So why do we keep beating our heads against the wall, expecting a different result when we are not changing what we're saying, right? Oh man, everybody hung up on me today. As a sales manager, what do you think about that? Oh, I got door killed a lot today.
Oh God, what's going on? What are you saying at the door?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you saying?
No. We can't accept that. Like, oh yeah, this is just a tough area, tough time of day, tough season,
what are you doing?
Tough lead stack, tough this, tough that. No. What are you doing to create all these door kills? Right? I didn't write anything today. Okay, what are you doing to cause that? I didn't have a very good day. What did I do? Right? So you got to take responsibility. That's the last thing, is you got to take responsibility for all objections that you get, right? Oh, he was just stupid. Oh, he was just
a jerk.
He was a jerk. He was too stubborn. Nobody would have sold him. Oh yeah? Well, try to cash that check at your bank. Nobody would sell them, right? No, somebody could have. You just couldn't sell them.
And you just got to really sit there and decide, like, where in my presentation, where did I mess up at?
Yes.
For that objection to come up, you messed up.
Yes.
You just got to figure out where you found out in that system, and then just like get so confident in it that you can translate that energy towards them. Boom, now they're confident what you're confident about, and all of a sudden the sale just goes a little smoother.
It goes a lot a bit smoother. So take responsibility for all objections that you get, right? You created that objection somehow, some way, right? It's not like nobody called them and they're talking to nobody on the phone and saying, I'm not interested to nobody. Who are they talking to? You. They're talking to you, right? It's not like they opened the door and slammed the door where nobody was standing there. Who's standing there? You, right? And you're at the kitchen table, right? And I got to think about it. It's not like they sat there by themselves and said, I got to think about it to themselves. Who'd they say I got to think about it to?
To you.
To you. All right. So you're the core issue on all these things. Fantastic. Great.
What really helped me out when it came to that was putting my perspective as if I was in their shoes. Right, because I get so many phone calls, and you hear these people with the fake voice. It's like, "Hi, is this Dylan?" Like, they just
this Dylan. Oh, great! This is Rebecca with Paycom Solution. Just calling you back. What does that sound like?
And then you can't help to go like, "Oh, dude, I'm stuck." Because
you're making your customer think like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's at the door too. Is like, "Hi," like you sound nervous.
How are you?
I would be so scared if someone's like, "Hi, how are you?" I was like, "Oh God, they're selling me chocolate."
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Oh God, what's wrong on my roof this time?
Yeah, exactly. What are you trying to sell me?
Exactly. So be you, right? A good thing I like to do on my phone. On the phones, it's like, let's say, I was like, Patrick, what's going on?
What is going on?
And then they go, who's this? I was like, dude, it's Dylan. One time, this is so funny. I had a guy I had to call. He said, give me a month. This is when I was new, so I was like, I actually believed him. But I called him, and I was like, let's call him Ronnie. I was like, Ronnie, dude, it's Dylan. Dude, call me back and just be real quick. Got some good news. I hung up. And I woke up the next day. He called me like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I got 20 messages, and I was listening to the to the voicemails. He goes, Dylan, I was just thinking about the good old times, about us hanging out. Man, I miss those times. I still got those voicemails. And he kept going and going and going and going. At the very end, he goes, dang, is this Dylan, the life insurance guy? Well, you want to make a deal, you better answer your phone. But it was so funny that that's all I said was like, Ron. I was like, Ronnie, it's Dylan. Hey, call me back, got good news and bad news. And he just had that perceptive of like, oh, I know this guy.
That's my buddy.
because it's so much familiarity. You got to do it at the door. You got to do it at the phone. Because if you give that energy on a consistent basis, these people are going to be like, this is not a sales guy. I know this guy.
Right.
And then later they're like, wait, I do need help with this. Wait, I have been thinking about that. Instead of like, oh, I don't got time. I got that taken care of. I'm good. It's like, you sound like a guy who would help me with this.
That's right. That's right. That's the distinction. That's the distinction. Look, if they wanted to sit down with a suit, if they wanted to talk with a suit who's somebody who's super polished, who's, got all this stuff. Look, man, that ain't this industry. Okay? Maybe under other industries, but that's not our industry. So you don't have to be somebody you're not, and you don't have to be fake or phony. I just call it being extra you. Right? Because I don't care what IQ the person you're talking with in any situation has. If you're being like out of integrity of who you are as a person, trying to be somebody you're not, they can sense that. Right? Likewise on this. Like if you could sense that me and Dylan are trying to be somebody they're not, like you'd catch a vibe.
You're like, that's kind of weird.
That's something's off, right? Yeah. He's trying too hard, right? And so we're doing that a lot of times to our clients. And this is everybody, by the way. Like, I get in that zone, but you got to catch it real quick. It's like, damn, I was a sales guy. I was not Pat there. I was a sales guy.
It, yeah.
Damn.
Happens to me all the time. Go to the door, you're like, oh, I said that weird, and then they close the door. Yeah, and you're like, dang it, dude. That was on me.
That's on me. Take responsibility.
That was on me. And then you move on to the next door. You're like, okay, how can I say this better? Boom, 5 minutes, you get to that next door. You answer that next dial. You're like, okay, now I'm going to fix this right now. And you fix it. And boom, all of a sudden the sale keeps going down to the presentation.
Yep.
They chose the big one. They can afford it.
We're back, baby. We're back. Yeah. So take responsibility for everything that happens in your career and watch what happens, because then it gets us out of the victim mindset. This is the complete opposite of being a victim, right? It's
Things are happening to you. They're happening because of you.
That's right. Exactly. And then you have a foundation to work from to where you can actually improve. It's paramount. When I first heard of that, that's easier said than done to do, right? But when I first heard of that, there was pressure that was taken off. It's like, instead of like, I'm not going to make it, or there's no way that I can, the take responsibility for everything that happens in your business was very encouraging, because it's like, oh, great. I'm the problem, so I can be the solution, right? It's because of my schedule. It's because of my attitude. It's because I'm not handling objections right. It's because I'm not taking responsibility. And I'm not blaming the customers anymore. I'm not blaming the business anymore. I'm not blaming anybody but me. Hell yeah. We can go from here now. Right?
You can fix those problems.
You can fix those problems. And it takes a village, right? It takes an awesome podcast like It's Go Time to be here with you along the way. It takes great teammates around with you for that as well. So lean into the objections, okay? Because that's where the magic happens, is when you start leaning into the objections and start trying to be a master of objections, right? You want to learn all your objections. Go into the objection manual. Write down all the objections that you could get at every single phase of your sales process, right? And figure out what to say in between those. If you're in FE, we knocked a couple of door objections out. We'll do more later for sure to really help you get more equipped for handling more objections. At least that works well for us in the field, nose to nose, face to face. Right? I understand
they do work on the phones.
Yes, they do.
So me and Pat, we always help our agents in the field. So they'll call us if they're stuck in an objection. And why I know this works is because we say the same things on the phone and
to the client,
and then it moves on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so there's a science to it, and so start learning that as best and as quickly as you can. And when you do make adjustments, make them quick. All right, make them quick. Don't delay, because sometimes we get in that mode of just handling like, oh, okay, it is what it is, on to the next one. It is what it is, on to the next one. It is what it is, on to the next one. Well, we're not making any adjustments, so no wonder why your production has stayed the same. No wonder why you feel like you're still in the mud, because you're not getting any new traction. Does that make sense? You're not pouring into your craft. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Now, if you're cranking at a high level and you're rocking, dude, don't make many adjustments. Stay sharp, right?
So actually document what you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
So you can always follow that model that was working so well.
Correct.
At a high consistent level.
Because it's going to slip at some point in time, either because of, you get sick or you get time off, or, you just might hit a streak of, a streak where it just doesn't mesh well with how you're showing up. And then you start to change things from there, right? Oh, I don't want to say that anymore. Like, so be a student of the game. Be a student of the game. Now, number 4, last one is take responsibility for all objections that happen in your sit. You created those. That's the beautiful part, is you created those, and there is a way to get around those. There is a way to pass the poop tests that our clients give us, right? I was with Dom the other day, and so I was sitting down with Mom, right? And then the son and daughter were wandering around. You know, the wanderers you got in the homes?
They're like listening, but not giving you eye contact.
The whole time. And then all of a sudden,
you see them sitting at the couch, like looking back like 100%. This. You're like, what's happening over there?
It was a recliner right here, face the other way. Didn't even know she was there until she said, now hold on. Now, what is all this about? I'm like, yep, Mom had mailed in a card. It was this one right here. We just help folks do this, do that. I forgot exactly what I said. But it was, and then she was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, hey, look, if this was my mom, I would want you to be asking these questions too. Okay, because I'm a mama's boy. I want to make sure that whoever's taking care of her and her insurance has her best interests in mind. So I'm glad you're like this there, Jessica, because guess what? Not a lot of folks that do what I do actually have your mom at the center of at their heart. Right? Does that make sense? So you're welcome to sit in if you like, right? A matter of fact, I'd love for you to sit in. Right? But let me ask you a couple of health questions. You're more than welcome to sit in if you want. Okay, hey, Mom, so how's your heart? So you handle it, and you deal with it.
And you move on.
Right? You don't sit there. That's a beautiful thing about objections.
You let it simmer, it'll eventually boil.
So. Bonus lesson, is handle it and move on. Right? So it's like, I ain't got no time for this. Hey, ain't no one got time for this. Let me go grab your book and I'll be right in. Nobody got time for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what are they going to say? They're going to say something else.
Yeah, because they're going to go back and watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 90% of the time, they're going back and watching TV.
They're not busy.
They're not busy.
And if there are, we'll find out in a second too. Yeah. Our job is to get in the home. Mm-hmm. So handle the objection and then move on. Transition to the next step. Transition to the next idea. Transition to the next thought. Transition and take control. So that's huge in the final, that's being assumptive. That is totally not natural. It almost feels disrespectful when you start doing it. It's not disrespectful, but it feels disrespectful.
It feels weird. You get that nervous butterfly feeling in your stomach.
But Pat, she just said she didn't have time. It's like, I know she said she didn't have time, but you just say, nobody's got time for this. Let me go grab your book. I'll be right in. Then you get in, then you hang out. Try this. Then you hang out with them.
You ask them what they're doing for the rest of the day.
20 minutes later, I'm like, what do you got going today? And they're like, nothing.
Oh, right? I guess we were just gonna watch TV.
That's
watch
right.
Wheel of Fortune.
What's on? I don't even know. And so, so again, this goes into our clients just say things at the beginning, just at the top of the head, right? They're not liars. They're not good people, right? It's just people at the door, especially in the intro, when they're talking to a salesperson, they get a little fibby. Mm-hmm. They just get a little fibby. And that's okay. Test. It kind of is, right? And because what did they say to the last guy, right? What did they say to the people with the church that knocked on their door? Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, I
ain't got no time.
Yeah.
And then they leave. Right. And so, very important distinction. And so if you're having trouble, please, do we still have the thing in the show notes for questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So
cool.
Please submit questions, especially around FE, if you're over the phone or in the field, knocking on doors. This is what we love to talk about.
This is what we do every day.
We talk about.
Every day, all day.
And then so submit your questions. We'll be doing some Q&A more and more as time goes on. Anything else?
Yeah, Robert, how much more time we got? What's the time on it?
We are about 45 minutes.
45 minutes. All right, Pat. I got 4 objections for you. This guy's been doing this for 11 years. He knows something. We're going to get a little bit out of him.
Okay.
We're at the close. All 4 objections, okay?
Okay.
First one is I need to talk to my kids.
Yeah, fantastic. And I would want you to. I'll encourage all my families to talk to their kids, okay? But what they actually need is, because we're not really talking about anything until we get approved. So let's get you approved for something that you can do on a monthly basis and that makes you feel good. Okay. And then when you get to policy, that's when you go and talk to your kids. You tell your kids what you have done. Okay. Hey, Jessica, I taken out life insurance. You're the beneficiary. These are my wishes. This is how we want it. Okay. And it's stored over there in the lockbox or in the fridge. Okay. And so you want to tell your kids what you've done. Okay. Does that make sense, Ms. Jones? So we're going to do the 10, we're going to do the 15, or we're going to do the 20.
Cool. Yeah. Next one is, hold on, let me think of something. I just spontaneously did this. I don't want to do anything today. I'm good.
I completely understand. Hey, but John, after what you had told me, man, you've been thinking about this for so long. You put away a couple of people in your family without coverage soon. And I know after what you've told me, right, you want to make sure that that burden doesn't get pushed down to your kids. Okay, so let's do something positive today. And John, I guarantee you, when you put your head on the pillow at night tonight, you're going to feel a heck of a lot better about this. So we're going to do the 10, or we're going to do the 10, 15, or we're going to do the 20.
And last one, best one, I need to think about it.
Fantastic. Awesome. So typically when I hear that, John, are you going to be John?
Yeah, I'm John.
So typically when I hear that, John, it's usually one of three things. All right. And I want you to be candid with me. I've been candid with you this whole time. I want you to be candid with me, John. Right. So typically it's one of three things. Is one, that is price. Right. That there's something about that you don't know that you could actually do on a monthly basis. And that's okay. Is that it?
A little.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. What's the other two options?
Gotcha. So if I hear somebody say that means that it's almost always price.
That is the.
So if I hear a little, that means a lottle.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So I'll be like, hey John, dude, there's not one grandma or grandpa that I don't sit down with that doesn't want to take care of this burden. That way it doesn't get left behind. Right. And after what you told me, you're that guy too. So, but the thing is you don't want to quit living because of dying. All right. So that tells me that this one's too high. So that's just not the right plan for now. All right. So let's start with this one. All right. It's going to be this much a month. So whatever the plan is, it's going to be this much a month. It doesn't start till the next month anyways. And then when things loosen up in the budget, John, we can always go up from there. Okay. So let's start with that one. All right. So let's see what we can do to get you qualified. And then wherever you're at this step, then you just move forward.
Boom.
Cool. Now that was 3. You said 4.
Oh, did I say 4?
I'm in the zone now.
Let me think. Dude, I don't. I don't give that information out.
Okay, so social.
I don't give my social out to anybody.
Yeah, for sure. It's just to match the death certificate. What's your social?
Good one. I really don't get that one either.
Yeah. You shouldn't get too many social objections.
No, you shouldn't. I don't like to give out my bank account information.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is at BankPay. So you got to get. So we've already.
We picked an option, yeah, and now we got all the information. We just need account round number, and they're like, oh, I don't really like to give that out.
Yeah, I know, me neither. You just grab it real quick.
Boom. It's honestly that simple. That's what I was trying to get out here.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah,
you just gotta keep it simple.
Yeah, because there's different phases, right? So you can say that, and then 30, 40, 50% of the time they're gonna go get it. Right? Because it's a poop test a lot of times. If it's a poop test, you just say that simple one and then you're good to go. Right? Hey, I completely understand. Just grab it real quick.
Yeah, I like to say, I don't like to give that out either.
Just grab it real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Because again, you handle it, move on.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like giving it out either. Then you pause.
Yeah. Especially at that point.
Then the fire blows up.
Yeah.
You know, then they're like, well, this other thing. I
gotta think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you kind of gotta gloss over it. Because
I got one more after you're done.
Hold that thought. Because if you gloss over it and you get them qualified and you're like, here's your coverage, this is what it's like, boom, here's your receipts and all that, they're like, I feel so much better about this. So like, if you're not in the industry, this sounds weird. Right? This sounds weird. Why would you not listen to the objection? It's like, because it's not real, right? Most of the time. Because that same person that says I don't give up that information, the same person that says I can't afford it, the same person says I got it all squared away, is the same person that's going to tell you in 45 minutes on how much they appreciate you stopping by, how much they appreciate you taking care of them, and how much better they feel. Right? It's because like if all of our clients kept saying like, dude, this is a terrible deal. I feel bad that I did this. Like we wouldn't be glossing over that because that would mean that they're real. Right? And so our industry is really funny like that, but you got to gloss over it because on the other side of that, you're going to get a lot of grateful customers. Right? And we just got to help them get out of their own way.
Exactly.
Why are they 78 without life insurance? It's because they told the other 15 other dudes that sat down with them the same thing, and they won. They worked, and now they're 78.
And you ask them, "Can your primary beneficiary afford this?" And they say, "No." it's like, oh God, we got to get something done today.
We're doing something,
I
John.
see why you've been thinking about this then.
There you go. That's awesome.
And then you move on.
Dude, that's a great tie down. There's opportunities for tie downs. We can go 72,000 hours on all this, but that's a tie down right there. Is he said, can John afford, your son John afford this? No. Oh, so that's why we're here today. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I think you're an awesome dad. Just thinking about your son then. That's awesome.
I wish more people thought like you, John. These are tie downs to where when you get in the close, they're like, well, after everything, that's what happens in a millisecond in their mind. They're like, well, after everything I told him today, I have to do 10. Good. Guess what? Now there's $10,000 going to his beneficiary because of you. So handle your objections, take them seriously, take responsibility for all your objections, battle test. We didn't talk about it too much, but that's what we've been doing a little bit on the pod is battle test your teammates. That way, when you're live on a podcast or live in front of your teammates or live in front of your customers, you don't have to go, And if it comes out good, you're not going to be perfect right off the rip, but that sharpens your sword, right? In the field, that sharpens your sword, that sharpens your other teammates. You know, we do this not as often as we should anymore, but it is definitely a good thing to do. Is like, hey, right before you get going, hey, real quick, I got to think about it in the close. Boom.
And just go.
Just go. Just do it. So battle test between you and your teammates. Make this part of your culture. If your teammates don't like you from doing this, you may need more different teammates.
Yep.
Right?
Need different teammates. Last one. Ready?
Okay. Objection. All right.
Objection. This is the last one. We'll close up here for my part, right?
He's leaning in for this.
Yeah, this looks good. Thank you for your time. It's great information, but
leave me your card.
Just leave me your card and just leave me your number, and I'll call you back here in a couple of days, maybe a month or two. We'll see.
Fantastic. I completely agree, right? And I want you to do that. All right. But what's super important is that we actually get you qualified for something, because right now we ain't got nothing in place. Okay. Because what's most important to me, Ms. Jones, is that we actually lock in your age and your health while we can. I can't tell you how many times, right? There is somebody in this stack of cards, people that I have not met yet, that are unqualifiable, meaning they cannot qualify for what we're going to try to for you. Class A health, right? Immediate coverage. Okay. So let's do something positive today and lock in your age and your health while we have it. Because I can't tell you how many customers will kill to be in your position. 68 and healthy. Matter of fact, that's one of the best spots to be in. Okay. So we're going to do the 10, we're going to do the 15 and the 20, right? Because they want to delay. You've got to give them every reason to not delay, right? So when you're talking about age and health, locking it in and stuff like that, whoosh, all these thoughts come through their head, hopefully, of things that they have gone through, the scares in their life, the time they went to the hospital and didn't know what was going on with it, the time they had the heart attack 15 years ago and didn't know if they were going to make it, the time that they saw their sister go through that, the time they saw their brother, their kids, their neighbors, the whoever. They've seen it. If they're 68, they've seen this stuff. If you're 22, you might not have seen this kind of stuff. But our customers, they have seen this stuff. So when you talk in this kind of language, this gives them reasons and excuses and data in their own mind that they can reflect back to. And they're like, yep, that's what happened to Cousin Billy. Then he passed. They'll tell you this. They might not. But in their mind, they're like, that's what happened to Cousin Billy. And then when he passed away, he didn't have any coverage. Or if you got Stone-Faced Sam over here, we're on a roll now. Or if you got Stone-Faced Sam over here and Sweet Sally, his wife, Sally wants to do it. Stone-Faced Sam won't talk to you unless it's about anything other than insurance, right? And you got to say, hey, John or Sam, look, man, I completely understand where you're coming from. I know you don't want to be sold. I can feel that vibe from you right now. But look, man, it's not about me and it's not about you. It's about her. Okay? And like, look, man, you know how many times I sit down with widows and not widowers? We go before them, brother. It's statistically, that's how it is, right? And you know what I hear oftentimes there, Sam, is that I hear from the widow. I'm like, I always ask. It's like, hey, did your husband had life insurance when he passed away? No, he did not. Why not? I could never get him to do it. He was too stubborn. He didn't want to pull the trigger. He didn't want to do this. He didn't want to do that. And Sam, you're in a spot to be able to do this right now. You've got your age and you got your health on the side. So let's put our pride to the side and do something positive today. Not for me, not for you, but for her. Because that's what it's about. Okay, so guys, are we going to do the 10? We're going to do the 15 or the 20. Am I an asshole?
Nope.
Am I a jerk?
Nope.
Am I super pushy?
No.
No, I'm keeping it real, right? And all these things are real. And the more and more you can borrow all this, whatever
dude,
you want.
Write this down.
Because this
Stamp
is all
on your
real
forehead.
stuff. Like we do sit down with more women that have lost their husbands than husbands
All
that
the
have lost
time.
their wives. Right. And we do sit down with wives that say that their husbands were too stubborn to ever take out life insurance and they had to come out of pocket. They had to take out a loan. Like this is real life. Right. And we just bring it up in a very positive way. But in a real way, it took me a long time to like really kind of get over the hump of like, I don't want to sound like an asshole. Right. I want to stay the nice guy. And so you can still be the nice guy and still hold them accountable and keeping it real. And Sam's not going to get pissed. Right? He might actually. That does happen. But it's like, dude, I know he's not pissed at me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, look, man, I didn't say that you're a dumbass for not getting life insurance, right? That would be rude. That would be an asshole.
You're just telling what's real.
Keeping it real, man. And so these are real things in real life that happen to real people in this real industry. So anything else on objections before we wrap it up?
No, that was it, man.
Come on, man. This is the intro. This is Objections 101. We are going way deeper, way longer, way faster, way harder, way stronger on other episodes. But this is super important. Lean into the objections. Start getting great at this stuff. Like this is your job. Like we get objections all day long, right? Imagine getting punched in the face every single day and then like never putting your hands up. You're just taking it to the face every
All the
day.
day.
And that's what we naturally do with objections is we quit leaning in, right? We're like, oh, it is what it is, right? I never sell that guy. I never sell that person. I never get over that objection until now. Draw a line in the sand and say, hey, I'm going to get great at this sales thing. I'm going to get great at this final expense thing. I'm going to sell a lot of insurance to a lot of people and help out a lot of people and get a lot of thank yous and a lot of hugs. If you're face to face, you get a lot of hugs. You get a lot of hugs. Cool. Well, public service announcement. It is free to be kind. You can hold your clients accountable and still be kind and respectful at the same time. There is a way. There is a way. So we love you guys. Be kinder in traffic. Right? Pick up some trash if you need to, right? Pick up one piece of trash a day. I'm tired of looking at shit flying around all over the place. And it's because a bunch of litter bugs out there. So let's take care of our planet that we live on. Take care of each other. And don't forget to take care of your business and your clients and your teammates to the best of your ability. We love you guys. And Dylan, what time is it?
It's go time, baby.
It's go time.
Let's do it.